Hello everyone, hope you all are doing well. So in today's lecture, we will solve IFRS 5 non-current assets held for sale benchmark questions for your better exam preparation. I am considering that you have watched the IFRS 5 lecture which I have shared in the morning time in the WhatsApp group. If you are not in my WhatsApp group, then please comment down. I will give you the link. If you are not watched the IFRS 5 lecture which I have shared earlier, then you may not understand the questions which we will cover in today's session. Because the questions which we will cover in today's session is not that much simple. So make sure you guys are watching the lectures which I am sharing in the morning time. Because as I have mentioned in the yesterday lecture in the IAS 36 impairment of assets, then from now onwards we will solve the benchmark questions. In the morning time, I will share the lecture link for your better revision. Once you watch the IAS or IFRS lecture, then in this time I will solve the past paper questions. So in the same day, you will cover both the things. Now, guys, I hope you have watched the yesterday IAS 36 past paper question lecture. So, in today's lecture, we will start IFRS 5 non current assets held for sale. This is IFRS 5 non current assets held for sale past papers. What is non current asset held for sale? Means whose carrying value is principally recovered through a sales transactions, not from continuing use. When we have an intention to sell, let's say you have a property, plant, and equipment, and you are not going to use it. You decided to sell that PPE. Once you decided that you are going to sell this property, plant, and equipment, there are few factors. The factors are that the asset should be sold within 12 months from the date of its classification. Also, the management starting looking for the buyer, there is a proper documentation, there is a formal agreement, the buyer must be located, the price must be determined. So once these conditions meet, then from that date till the date of disposal, your PPE should be recorded as a non-current asset held for sale in the current assets. From the non-current assets, your PPE should be recorded under the current assets. Why in the current assets? Because I have mentioned that you are going to sold this asset within 12 months. So we all know current assets means less than or till 12 months means 1 year. Once you classified your non-current assets to the current asset as held for sale, then no need to charge depreciation on that asset. Let's read the objective and scope, then we will solve the question because all these detailed things I have covered in my IFRS 5 lecture. Objective and scope to specify accounting for assets held for sale, also assets held for distribution to owner, subsidiary held for sale means group disposal. Remember discontinued operation, group disposal, asset acquired with an intention of sale. Presentation and disclosure of discontinued operation means if it's a held for sale means it's a non-current asset, then in the balance sheet it will be reported and presented under the current assets as non-current asset held for sale. In the P&L, in the income statement, it is reported as a discontinued operation. If you have not watched the IFRS 5 lecture, then I am again repeating, please watch that lecture because the prerequisite of today's past paper session is the IFRS 5 lecture. Now, guys, here is a timeline. Decision to sell. Once you made the decision to sell, then from the decision to sell till the time it is disposed, you have to apply IFRS 5 on that asset. Now, there are few conditions. Must be available for immediate sale in its present condition. These are the conditions for the HFS, means held for sale. must be available for immediate sale in its present condition. Means the asset should be in your possession, it should not be rent out, it should not be leased out, and there is no major work like repair and maintenance going on the asset. Sale must be highly probable. What is the meaning of highly probable? Means management must be committed to sale. There is a proper agreement. Active program to locate a buyer have been initiated. Means management is starting to look out for the buyer. Sale is expected to be complete within 1 year time. No U-turn. Now guys, the summary steps of IFRS 5, how to solve any question. Calculate the carrying amount as per respective standard. Let's say you have a plant and the plant we all know is reported as per IAS 16. So first you have to calculate the carrying amount as per IAS 16. Then classify as NCA held for sale in IFRS 5 at lower of carrying value or fair value less cost to sale. There is no value in use concept. Why? Because we are not using this asset anymore. Value in use means the economic benefit you will get from the continuing use of that asset. But in this case, we are not using this asset anymore. So there is only fair value less cost to sale. You have to compare the carrying amount with the fair value less cost to sale. If the fair value less cost to sale is less than the carrying amount, so there is an impairment loss. No gain is allowed to recognize till disposal. It means once you dispose your NCAHFS, then only you can recognize the gain. Impairment loss can be recognized, of course, once your fair value less cost to sale is less than the carrying amount, then of course there is an impairment loss which is recorded in P&L. Impairment loss is allowed to be reversed to the extent previously booked. If the fair value less cost to sale is greater than the carrying amount, of course, you can say there is an impairment reversal. Last year you booked impairment of 3000 and this year the fair value is greater than the carrying amount. So of course there is an impairment reversal. But you can only record the reversal till the extent of previously recorded impairment. And the previously recorded impairment amount is 3000. So you can only book the reversal to the extent of 3000. Now guys, let's start the questions. Question number one, we will start with the basic questions. Question number one, non-depreciable asset. Non-depreciable means, in this case, in this question, the entity purchased a land. An entity carried its land at cost. One piece of land had a carrying amount of rupees 60,000 on January 1st, 2017, classified as held for sale, its fair value being estimated at rupees 70,000 and the cost to sale at rupees 2,000. So now guys, from an entity till cost to sale rupees 2,000, you have the two data. The first data is about the carrying amount and the second data is about the fair value less cost to sale. So your carrying amount is 60,000 and you can see on 1st Jan 2017 classified as held for sale. It means the conditions, the criteria of NCAHFS is met. So it means you have to make the shifting entry. Shifting entry means from PPE from IAS 16 to IFRS 5. Now guys, you have to record it at lower of means carrying amount or fair value less cost to sale. Now guys, carrying amount is 60,000 and fair value less cost to sale is 68,000. How 68? 70 fair value minus cost to sale 2,000, you will get 68,000. So please tell me which amount is lower. Of course, it's a carrying amount which is lower, so you have to record it at lower. So now guys, we have a fair value less cost to sale is 68,000 and the carrying amount is 60,000. So whichever is lower, 60,000 means carrying amount is lower. Let's start the solution. On 1st Jan 2017, PPE to NCA held for sale, lower of carrying value or fair value less cost to sale. So carrying value is lower, which is 60,000. You can see as fair value less cost to sale is 68,070 minus 2,000, which is higher. Therefore, shifting entry should be made at carrying amount. If you are not getting the terminologies like shifting entry, please watch that video of IFRS 5. NCA held for sale is 60,000. Land means PPE graded by 60,000. If any student wants to know why we debit the NCA and credit the PP, because guys, previously the land was treated as per IAS 16, but now the NCA HFS criteria is met, so we have to move the land from the NCA to the NCA HFS, means from non-current asset to the current assets. That's why you have to credit the PPE, which is land, and debit the current asset, which is NCAHFS. Now the assets is disposed on 30th June 2017. You can read here. The asset was sold on 30 June 2017 for rupees 67,000. Now the assets is disposed on 30th June 2017. So gain loss on disposal should be reported in profit and loss account, means P&L. You disposed at 67, so cash debit by 67,000. The land value is 60,000, so there is a gain of 7,000. Why 7,000 gain? Because the value of the land is 60,000 and you sold at 67,000. That's why there is a gain of 7,000, which you will record in the P&L. So now guys, we are done with the question number 1. Let's start with the question number 2. And in this case, there is a depreciable asset, means it could be building equipment. Let's read. First, read the requirement. Show the journal entries relating to reclassification of the plant under assuming. So means we have to assume these things. An item of plant measured using the cost model has a carrying amount of rupees 80,000, cost equal to 1 lakh. So, cost is 1 lakh on January 1st, 2003, on which date all the criteria for separate classification as a non-current asset held for sale are met. This asset had previously been impaired, means this is already impaired. This asset had previously been impaired by rupees 3,000. Balance of accumulated impairment loss account. So it means this is the cost 1 lakh and there is a carrying amount of 80,000. So the net difference is 20,000. Out of the 20,000, 3,000 is the impairment and the remaining look balance of accumulated impairment loss account. So the remaining 17,000 is the accumulated depreciation. Now guys, the fair value of the asset is rupees 70,000 and the expected cost to sale is rupees 5,000 on January 1st, 2003, means on this date. So on this date you have a carrying amount of 80,000 and we all know NCA HFS is recorded at lower of carrying value or fair value less cost to sale. In this case, fair value less cost to sale is 65,000. So it means we should record it at fair value less cost to sale. Let's solve. Cost is 1 lakh, accumulated depreciation 17,000, impairment expense 3,000, carrying value is 80,000, which is given in the question, and based on that we calculate these two figures. Now guys, as NCA HFS criteria is met on 1st Jan 2003, So it should be recorded at lower of carrying value or fair value less cost to sale, which is 65,000. So now guys, your carrying amount is 80,000. So you debit PPE by 80,000. Now NCA you debit it by 65,000 because we just studied it should be recorded at lower of. So you debit NCA by lower of 65,000 and you credit the PPE by 80,000 because the PPE carrying amount is 80,000 in your books. So now you are shifting it from IAS 16 to IFRS 5. That's why you have to credit the PPE, means plant. The difference is impairment loss, which is 15,000. If any student want to pass this entry separately, then first you have to debit the NCA by 65,000 and PPE credit by 65,000. Then the second entry will be the impairment loss entry, which is impairment loss debit by 15,000, PPE credit by 15,000. So I recommend you to pass this entry. Now guys, the total impairment is 18,000. How 18,000? 15,000 you just identified and the 3,000 the previous impairment. So the total impairment is 18,000. Now guys, in the question we have two cases. Let's assume these two cases. Okay. The first case means now for subsequent entries assume 6 months later means on 30th June 2003 the fair value is 70,000 and the expected cost to sale is rupees 2,000. Now guys, in this case, the fair value less cost to sell is 68. 70 minus 2 is 68,000. And we are now at 65. Let me show you again. Look, we are now at 65,000. And after 6 months, the fair value less cost to sell is 68,000. So what do you think? There is an impairment reversal or not? Now guys, we are at 65. Look, I have write the direction for you. Now the fair value less cost to sell is increased by 3,000. How 3,000? Now the fair value less cost to sell is 68. So there is an increase of 3,000 in the fair value. So it's an impairment reversal. Now guys, the reversal entry is NCAHFS 3000 PNL credit by 3,000. This is the gain or you can say reversal of an impairment. So previously you booked total impairment of 18,000. Now there is an impairment reversal of 3,000. So the net reversal, so the net impairment is 15,000. Now guys, case 2. 6 months later on 30th June 2003, the fair value is 90,000 and the expected cost to sale is 5,000. So in this case, we have a fair value less cost to sale is 85,000 and we are at 65. Do not get confused with these are two separate cases. Okay, this is the case 1. In the case 1 you compared 68 with the 65 and this is the case 2 in which you are comparing 85 with 65. So please do not get confused. Now we are at 65. The fair value less cost to sale is 85,000. Again, there is an increase. So it's a reversal of impairment of 20,000. Now guys, in the case 2, the reversal is 20,000. Can we record this 20,000 reversal? No, we have studied in the start of this session that you can only book the reversal to the extent of the previously impairment amount. So your previous impairment amount is 18,000. So you can only book the reversal till the extent of 18,000. Now we are at 65. The fair value less cost to sell is 85,000. Again, there is an increase. So it's a reversal of impairment of 20,000. But we can only reverse 18,000 as the impairment loss we booked previously or at the start is 18,000. So now guys, in these two questions or three, let me, yeah, okay, in these two questions, we start with the basic questions. Then in the question number two, we solve the question with the reversal of the impairment. And both these two questions are cost model. Now we are going to solve the questions with the revaluation. What if the entity is using the revaluation model? So please guys be attentive. This is a little bit tricky question. Question number three, depreciable asset, but with revaluation, not cost model. Item of plant revalued to fair value using the revaluation model. Met all criteria for classification as held for sale on January 1st, 2004. The following information is relevant. Cost 1 lakh purchase on 1st January 2001 and the criteria is met on 1st Jan 2004. So after 3 years, 2001, 2002, 2003. So after 3 years, the criteria is met. So from 1st Jan 2001 to 31st December 2003, you can depreciate it. Once you move or shift into IFRS 5, which is on 1st Jan 2004, then no more depreciation. Now guys, depreciation 10% or 10 years, useful life using the SLM method, no residual value. Fair value is 1,20,000 revalued on 1st January 2003 means after 2 years. So first you have to calculate the 2 years depreciation, then you can calculate the revaluation gain or loss, which we will see. Now guys, required. Show all journal entries relating to the reclassification as held for sale assuming now there are again three cases. Case number one, the fair value is rupees 1 lakh and the expected selling costs are 9,000 on 1st Jan 2004. On this date, the HFS criteria is met. Now the fair value is 1,50,000 in the case 2 and the cost to sale is 20,000. In the case 3, the fair value is 60,000 and the cost to sale is 20,000. Now guys, I am again repeating, please be attentive. Now, solution. Cost is 1 lakh. You calculate 2 years depreciation. You can also calculate by year 1 or year 2. I just club both the years depreciation. So 20,000. How 20,000? 10 years is the useful life. 1 lakh divided by 10, you will get the per year depreciation of 10,000 and 2 years depreciation is 20,000. So now guys, you calculate the 2 years depreciation, which is 20,000. You will get the carrying value 80,000 at 31st December 2002. Now guys, at this date, the life of the asset is also remain 8 years because total life of the asset was 10 years and you depreciated 2 years. So the remaining life is 10 years at 1st Jan 2003 or 31st December 2002. Now guys, on the 1st Jan 2003, there is a fair value of 1,20,000. So you all know there is a fair value increase. So there is a revaluation gain of 40,000 which will be reported in OCI in PNL and OCE in balance sheet. Now guys, from now onwards, we will charge depreciation on the fair value because it's a fair value model and we calculate the revaluation gain which will be reported in OCI and from this date we charge depreciation on the fair value. Now guys, fair value is 1,20,000. Remaining life was 8 years. So 1,20,000 divided by 8, you will get the 1 year depreciation which is 15,000. The net fair value or the net carrying amount is 1,05,000 at 31st December 2003. Now guys, at this date, the criteria of NCA HFS is met. Before making the entries for the HFS, let's pass the journal entries for the above data or for the above calculation we have done as per IAS 16. So guys, first you have purchased the PPE, so you debit PPE cash credit by 1 lakh. Then you charge 2 years depreciation. 1 year depreciation is 10,000. Second year depreciation is 10,000. Then you calculate the revaluation gain. So you debit PPE and you credit revaluation surplus by 40,000. Then you charge depreciation on the fair value depreciation expense debit 15,000. Then PPE credit by 15,000. Okay guys, now please be attentive. Then the last entry is revaluation surplus and retained earning credit. Why this entry? Wait a minute, guys, let me tell you. I know you have not watched the IFRS 5 lecture. That's why I have to explain each and everything. So, now, guys, if you remember, last year you charged depreciation which is 10,000, but this year the depreciation is 15,000. So there is an excess of depreciation of 5,000 due to this revaluation. Last year you were at 1 lakh, now you were at 120. So this is due to excess depreciation due to revaluation. The reduction in revaluation surplus is due to excess. This reduction, okay? This, look, revaluation surplus is debit, so this is a reduction. This reduction in revaluation surplus is due to excess depreciation, and the excess depreciation is 5,000. Last year the depreciation was 10,000. This year it is 15,000 due to revaluation fair value. So guys, if you have not passed this entry, no need to worry at all. This is just for your understanding. But if you can pass or you can understand this thing, then it's good. Now guys, from now onwards, you have to be attentive. Now we will solve three cases one by one. Let me show you the cases again. 1, 2, 3. Please remember the fair value less cost to sales amount. In the case 1, we have fair value 1 lakh and cost to sale 9,000. So guys, we are now at 1 lakh 5,000. This is the carrying value at 1st January 2004. So in the case 1, you wrote carrying value which is 105,000. Now guys, fair value is 1 lakh. I am again repeating, this is the fair value, not fair value less cost to sell. This is the fair value. Okay. In the revaluation model, first you have to compare it with the fair value. Then you identify the revaluation loss or further surplus. Once you are done with this activity, then you will compare it with the fair value less cost to sell. This is what I was talking about. So guys, your carrying value is 1 lakh 5,000. The fair value in the case 1 is 1 lakh. So fair value is higher than the carrying amount. Sorry, fair value is less than the carrying amount. So there is a revaluation loss of 5,000. And the revaluation surplus which you have identified previously was 35,000. So this 5,000 revaluation loss will be offset against this revaluation surplus. So the net or the remaining revaluation surplus is 30,000. Now the entry for this revaluation loss is revaluation surplus debit plant credit. Okay. Now guys, read the case 2. The fair value is 1,50,000. Again, the carrying value is same because these are three different cases. Okay, your carrying value, let me show you. This carrying value remains same for all the three cases. Carrying value is 1,05,000 and the fair value is 1,50,000. So there is a revaluation gain because the fair value is greater than the carrying value. There is a revaluation gain of 45,000 and the previous revaluation gain was 35,000. So the total revaluation gain in this case, in case 2, is 80,000. So you made the entry plant debit revaluation surplus credit by 45,000. Now guys, in the case number 3, The fair value is 60,000. Now, carrying value is 1,05,000 and the fair value is 60,000. Now there is a huge revaluation loss which is 45,000, and in the surplus the revaluation surplus is 35,000. You can only record the loss till the 35,000, because out of 35,000 you do not have further surplus. So now in this case your entire revaluation surplus will be set off against the revaluation loss of 45,000, and still there is an excess loss of 10,000. So now guys, the entry you will made is revaluation loss 10,000, revaluation surplus 35,000. Where is the plan? I think, okay, it's cropped. Don't worry, once I will upload this file in the drive link, I will update it. So the credit is plant by 45,000 because your plant value is diminishing, is decreasing by 45,000. Now guys, do not enter this loss in the P&L. It's still recorded in the OCI as a loss. Please be attentive. Now guys, you are done with the revaluation activity. Now just make entries for the HFS criteria. Now, NCA HFS entry you have to make. Look, your plant value is 1 lakh. Okay, so now the fair value of your plant is 1 lakh. This is what I am talking about. First, you have to convert it into fair value. Then you calculate the revaluation loss or gain. After that, you have to make the NCA HFS entry. So now guys, your plant fair value is 1 lakh, and we all know as per IFRS 5 non-current asset held for sale we recorded lower of. So in this case the lower of is 91,000. How 91,000? In the case 1 the fair value was 1 lakh and the cost to sale is 9,000, so the net fair value less cost to sale is 91. So NCA HFS you debit 91,000 and the plant you credit because it's deducting from your books. So 1 lakh. The net is impairment loss by 9,000. In the case 2, the NCA HFS is 130,000 because the fair value was 150 and the cost to sale value was 20. So fair value less cost to sale is 130. And the plant value is 150. So again, there is an impairment loss of 20,000. Now in the case 3, NCHFS is 40,000 because the fair value was 60 and the cost to sale was 20. So 60 minus 20 is 40. You debit the NCHFS by 40 and plant you credit by 60,000 because you can see your plant value is 60,000. So again, there is an impairment loss of 20,000. So now guys, we are also done with these 3 questions. Now there is an important topic. What if you are at a held for sale, but now you have to reclassify it to IAS 16? In the above 3 questions, we were at IAS 16 and we classify into IFRS 5. Now I am talking about what if you are already in the HFS, but due to some conditions, the plan to sell, the plan to dispose the asset is revoked. So of course, then you have to reclassify to the IAS 16 again. So now guys, important points. Find the following amounts. If you go through these content or these notes, then you will easily solve these questions. Head that carrying amount. Find the following amounts. You have to find these 2 amounts. Head that carrying amount. What is the meaning of head that carrying amount? Head that carrying amount means what would be the value of the asset if the asset had not been classified as held for sale. Means what is the original carrying value of the asset if the asset is not classified as held for sale. So of course from day 1 to the day end you depreciate it throughout its life. Now the Second amount you have to calculate is the recoverable amount. Recoverable amount is the higher of fair value less cost to sale or value in use. Now guys, once you calculate these two amount, then you reclassify it at lower of. Lower of means had that carrying amount or recoverable amount. Whichever is lower, you just have to pick that amount and record the reclassification. Reclassification entry is PPE debit, NCA HFS credit, because now you are shifting from NCA HFS to the IAS 16. So there is a small question for you. Question number 4, reclassification. Required. Show all journal entries relating to remeasurement of plant previously held as NCA HFS. Plant having cost of rupees 1 lakh purchased on January 1st, 2001 and accumulated depreciation of rupees 20,000 on December 31st, 2002, 10% on straight line method, was reclassified as held for sale on 31st December 2002. So now guys, you are already in the IFRS 5 and immediately impaired to its fair value less cost to sale of rupees 65,000. Let's solve this question from plant having cost of rupees 1 lakh till rupees 65,000. Now guys, carrying amount is 80,000 given in the question. How given? 1 lakh is the cost, 20,000 is the accumulated depreciation, so the carrying amount is 80,000. Now guys, it's written that and immediately impaired to its fair value less cost to sale. Of course, we all know HFS is recorded at lower of carrying value or fair value less cost to sale. So 65,000 is lower. You have written here there is an impairment loss of 15,000. The entry is like this. NCHFS 65,000, plant 80,000, impairment loss 15,000. Now guys, you are done with these basic entry which we have solved in the above questions. Now you have to do the reclassification. On 30th June 2003 means 6 months later after 6 months. It ceased means revoked to meet all criteria necessary for classification as held for sale. Means it is not possible to classify this asset as NCHFS anymore. On this date, its recoverable amount is determined to be rupees 85,000. Now you have the recoverable amount, but you just have to calculate the had that carrying amount. Now guys, HFS conditions revoked, it should be recorded at lower of had that carrying amount which is 75,000. How 75,000? Look, the original cost of this plant of this asset was 1 lakh and I have mentioned that you have to calculate the carrying amount. How to calculate the carrying amount? The original cost less the depreciation of all the previous years. So now guys, you are reclassifying it on 30th June 2003 and the plant purchased on 1st Jan 2001. So Jan 2001 is the 1 year, 2002 is the second year, and 2003 half, it becomes 2.5 years. The life is 10 years and you are depreciated it by 2.5 years. So the remaining life of the asset is 7.5 years. You can calculate it 10 minus 2.5 because you already passed 2.5 years. So now at this date on 30th June 2003, the remaining life of this plant is 7.5 years. So now guys, 1 lakh divided by 10 multiply by 7.5, you will get the had that carrying amount on 30th June 2003 which is 75,000. Now just compare whichever is lower, this one is lower, so you debit your plant by 75,000. And the NCAHFS was recorded in your books at 65. So you just credit the NCHFS. This is just the reciprocal entry which you have passed in the above questions. Plant debit 75, NCAHFS credited by 65. Now there is an impairment reversal which is 10,000. Now guys, I have mentioned that from this date you can start depreciation. So depreciation expense debit plant credits 5,000. How 5,000? 75,000 the value of your plant divided by remaining life, which is 7.5, because you are left with the 6 months from 1st June, sorry, from 1st July till 31st December. So 6 divided by 12, you will get the 6 months depreciation. So now guys, I hope you are getting these things. I am again repeating, if you are not added in my WhatsApp group, please try to add, try to comment down. I will share the link with you. And do not ignore these lectures and these past paper videos. These are very important. These are very, very important lectures. I try my best to identify the questions which are very important for your exam preparation, because these are the benchmark questions which can give you the overall review, the overall practice of the relevant IAS and IFRS. If you go through the Kaplan book or the BPP book or other manuals, you will not get these questions. Even though in the Kaplan, in the BPP, there is no single questions on the IAS and IFRS topic wise. So please guys, be attentive and be consistent with your practice. I will upload this lecture after few minutes, and the lecture notes will be uploaded on the Drive link, which I will attach in the description. Till then, take care and goodbye.